Hello everyone, welcome back to Silver Tears Tarot. So today we're going to take another look into that third-party energy. I've gotten a lot of requests about it just from you guys, and definitely we've thought about this. We've talked about it a little bit in the past, just to make sure that knowing that we need to get back to that energy, because there's a lot of pull, a lot of influence from it right now. So let's get on into it. We're going to kind of take a general look at what's happening with that third party energy today, just kind of see what the overall impacts are. So of course it will also be a general reading for this collective. So it's not going to resonate with everybody. It really shouldn't resonate with everyone. But if it does resonate with you, you may want to take a look at some of the other videos that I've got. Maybe take a look at some of the other messages that are coming through with it, because they're all very much connected. And I know I say that at the beginning of every video, but you never know when it's going to be somebody's first time hearing it and then they realize, oh, hold on, there's more, so definitely take a look if you haven't done that already. So let's go ahead and jump in. We're going to look first at that energy of today, that energetic backdrop, that energetic and emotional backdrop. So kind of everything that's happening around you and your person and this third party situation. Looks like we've got a 9 of Swords there, and that is all that's coming out. So the 9 of Swords is all about having a hard time kind of working through the emotions and the thoughts that are hitting you. So there's anxiety. There's a lot of times it's also portrayed as having a difficult time sleeping, not being able to find that peace of mind. It's got that feel to it. So if you're having that day today where it just seems like you're not being able to find that peace of mind, this is kind of what may be a little bit responsible for it. It feels like it's a shared energy, but it also feels mutual. Part of the reason that it feels like this is coming to you is because it is happening with your person. So we're specifically making this a third-party reading, so about third-party energy that's impacting you guys. So I wouldn't be surprised if we find out that that third-party energy is impacting your person in a way that feels very uncomfortable. And that's part of why we see that 9 of Swords. But it's reflecting onto you. You may have some of your own third-party action going on too. Because if you recall, third party is not a specific thing. And for everybody, it's going to be a little bit different. It's an energy that is impacting you, impacting this relationship, that is making things, that's impacting them, making it different, making it more challenging in some cases. So some people, it's what's happening at work, or it's people at work. There is a pull toward destiny happening, and remembering some things that have happened in the past. So what this means for many of you is that there's this, I can feel it, and I'm trying to figure out how best to say it, but it's like a pure pull toward destiny. It's like these moments in between when you're distracted with other things. All of a sudden, you might feel kind of under the surface, this pull toward destiny that is very difficult to ignore, but also then immediately takes you back to a memory of something that happened before. This is happening associated with your person, around your person. So even if it's been weeks, months since you talked, there is a very clear and present sort of feeling about this. There's this feeling of they're having those emotions coming back that are associated with these memories as well. Six of Cups is kind of a nostalgic feeling, but in this case, it's a nostalgic feeling that is tinged by this anxiety, or maybe kind of... It has to do with the anxiety. It's got to do with... I can't say which is begetting the other, though. It's kind of a chicken and the egg sort of thing. So we've got the Creator and the Lovers card, both of them coming in the reverse. The Lover's card is all about feeling like there's no choice with you, feeling like there's no choice. You may be feeling like there's no choice with them. And the Creator card actually comes out feeling like a card of manifestation, or in this case, a card of no manifestation. So feeling like you have your hands tied, feeling like you don't have an option. The issue here that I'm feeling under the surface is when you feel that pull that happens in between things that are distracting you or that you're focusing on, when you feel that pull and you go back to the older memories, one of the issues that comes out is it's like there's almost this drive to move toward that person. And in some cases, it's not almost like a drive. It is a strong drive to move toward that person. And yet, there's this strong sense of, I can't be successful here. I don't know how to move this forward in a way that we feel like we have a choice. Your person is feeling it too, guys. It is a frustrating energy around today. It's one of those things that might make you feel like you're that frustration of going through puberty. Like it's got that kind of feel to it. Or if you have if you're a female and you have any experience with menopause, it's got that free-floating rage, only it's like free-floating anxiety that kind of happens in this energy. And I don't laugh because it's funny, because it's really not a funny feeling, but it's frustrating. It's frustrating, but it feels like it's almost a third-party energy unto itself, the energy that's coming through here. But, you know, it's like somebody said to me yesterday, today, I can't remember when it was. They were like, listen, you got 5 planets in retrograde and Mercury's about to go. I know you don't do very much astrology on that channel, and it's true. I mostly don't do very much astrology, but I also acknowledge it when the time is right. And I gotta admit, there's a lot happening in this energy that is maybe very much outside of you. So this energy could be creating kind of that third party impact in and of itself. Then we have the Ten of Swords. We're just going to take these kind of one at a time. The Ten of Swords, though, is a feeling of a difficult ending, but it goes with the Six of Swords, or the Six of Cups. So when they have the nostalgic feeling, and maybe even when you have the nostalgic feeling, it is almost immediately followed by the feelings around the ending, the reasons for the ending, a frustration around the ending. Once again, I get the sense of a lot of frustration here and a search for balance. The thing is, though, you guys aren't at the beginning of this road. So when you're looking for this search, when you're on this search for balance, when you're looking for that healing and that feeling of finally getting on that tightrope and feeling like you're pretty squarely balanced there, one of the issues that comes through, it's like it's a really long road. You know, it's a really long road, but you are, I can't stress enough how you're not at the beginning of it. Neither you nor your person. Your person was actually working through some things when you came along. And so that's part of the experience that they've been having is having all of that brought back up, the things that they were honestly kind of trying to sweep under the rug and not have to deal with. You came along and re-triggered them to have to deal with all of these things, but way more than they were before. So if they were dealing with it on like a 101 level before, you came in and immediately bumped them up to 300 or 400 level. And it's just a very, it's a challenging place to try and find balance. And in this energy, there's a lot of frustration around it. The Page of Swords indeed has this feeling of running away, wanting to hide, looking to maybe, you know, sometimes I talk about using your intellect in a little bit in the mix with the emotion, but not too heavily. This is almost like using that intellect, but wanting to allow that intellect to pull you out of an emotional place. And I feel like that's more in your person's energy. So it's like them trying to talk themselves out of it, but it's like they're trying to talk themselves out of the pain that's associated with it more than anything else. Okay, let's see. When we have the Hermit card in the reverse, there is a need to go back in and learn something. So you guys both have done a little bit of soul searching during the process here. You guys have done some learning. You again, like I said, you're not at the beginning of this road, the beginning of this path, but not, there hasn't been enough fruitfulness. There hasn't been enough, the learning is not yet complete. So with the Hermit card here, it just really speaks of needing to get back into that place where there can continue to be learning, an opportunity to go back into that thinking cave. I'm sensing like a need for a Six of Swords where you take a break and you're able to get into some calmer waters and do some reflection. There's a need for that here. And when it happens, then this Hermit would be the action that you would want to take. When that things start to slow up a little bit, you want to take a little bit of time to make sure that you're doing what you can, learning what you can in this energy, because it's not always possible. There's always so much going on that sometimes it's a little bit tough to get in there and spend some time on just finding those deeper messages. So that's kind of what's happening in the current energy. It's not comfortable. It's very push and pull, and you might even be confused by some of what you're feeling and not be able to categorize it and say, you know what, just forget it. I'm going to try and wake up again tomorrow and see if things go any better, which is a tough thing to do, especially if it's early in the day. It's early in the day for me doing this reading, and I'm feeling it and thinking, I wouldn't ever really want to waste a day. I'm not the sort of person who wishes my time away, but I definitely get that some days are easier than others, and this is one of those days. I get the sense we can work through it, though. Let's see what's happening in this third-party energy. So we've seen a lot in the third-party energy in the past, definitely a lot of impacting your person. And we're focusing primarily on their third-party energy, but we'll take what comes through because some of what impacts you is going to be impacting them by default as well, especially if you work in the same place and that third-party energy that you're impacted by is people at work or the situation at work. In a lot of cases, though, it's somebody that they're in a relationship with, or they have what we've jokingly called like a third and fourth party energy, where they have something going on at work, they have something going on with home, where you've got a significant other or a spouse or somebody that's kind of in the mix there, a sister or a brother, parents, aunts and uncles. One person told me I've got third, fourth, and fifth party energies and not even sure where to stop there. And that's just talking about them. I got my own life going on. So there's a Six of Wands. We're going to grab another card for this one because the Six of Wands it reminds me of the messages that we got in the past around the lessons that your person is learning from the third party. And the thing is, though, it's like they're being exposed to these lessons, but they're not necessarily picking them up. The Six of Wands is saying, hang in there. They're going to get it. But, one other person asked a question. I wonder if we should do this reading tomorrow. So somebody asked a question, and it was a few days ago, but I've been trying to figure out how to work it in. They were thinking about their lessons, and they're saying, is my person really learning their lessons? We know that I mentioned it, when something happens on their end, it impacts you. When something happens on your end, it impacts them. That goes for learning lessons too. But if they're not learning their lessons and getting those benefits that would simultaneously benefit you, what happens? Like, what do you do with the linkage that you have? What do you do if they're not learning their lessons very quickly? Here it's saying, hey, hang in there. They're going to learn them, at least the lessons associated with the third party, because we saw that the third party was furnishing some lessons, but I still don't have a warm, fuzzy feeling about it. There's something that's not yet complete here with this third party situation. And it's, when I say not quite complete, I get the sense that there are some pieces of this that are very complete. They are very much at the end of a cycle. They are very done with something there. It's a job they need to walk away from, and they already know they need to walk away from it, but they actually have more learning to do there, despite the fact that they feel like, nope, I'm done. I'm ready to walk away. Could be the same with a relationship, a marriage, something that's happening in the family, and they feel like I'm ready to just walk away and be done with this, but there's something about them that this situation is not done with them yet. So this situation is not done with them yet, and we know that they are learning some things. Those lessons are going to be beneficial. Again, though, I get that sense that even when they learn the lessons, they may not quite be ready to put those lessons into play right away. So let's see here. We've got the Tower in reverse. So there are lessons that want to come out here, but that they don't feel like they are ready to learn. They don't feel like they're ready to internalize. And it even though it has that positive they're going to get there. Just hang in there. The lessons are coming. It is a little bit frustrating because it's also got that sense of them resisting it, and not realizing that they've still got work to do here. There is a stability to the situation that they're currently in that makes it very difficult for them to walk away. And there are places where they could have, how can I say this? Like I said, things aren't quite over, but they feel like in some ways they need to make it over. They feel like they're more at the end of that cycle. But there are things that they have knowingly not set into motion that would create the break between them and this third-party energy that they want to be rid of. So keep in mind, there could be multiple third-party energies here, but there's one they feel like they're done with, but it's not done with them. They have had some opportunities to set in motion the ending, but they haven't yet done that, and it has everything to do with the stability that exists because of this third-party situation. So it's the comfort and security of the job that they have. Or in some cases, it's just, man, it's going to be really challenging to walk away to something new, as if it's work, because I'm so used to that old job. Or I've got a relationship where I don't really feel strongly about my spouse anymore, but I do feel like I want my family to stay together, or I do feel like there's something in here that's going to break down and really change if they truly make things over with this third party energy, and they're resistant to doing that, partially because of the benefit that they receive from the stability of it. So that's definitely coming through. But I get such a strong sense of them saying, that's it, I'm done, I'm out. They're out in some kind of way. And it's like, so the Judgment card is coming out, and it reminds me of, I was feeling it over here. There's something here about just being able to look at the big picture. They're able to look at it enough to be able to say, there's something here that doesn't make sense. There's something here that I would like to change, that I am no longer satisfied with, that thing that makes them say I'm out. But it's like a half-hearted I'm out, because they know they're relying on that stability and that security, but they are unable to, they can't unsee what they've seen with regard to this so far. There's that. So we've got the Seven of Wands in reverse. They don't feel like they have the higher ground with this. That we saw before, that there was some kind of threat. Hey, if you make this mistake, and there's some mistake, whether it's being with you, in some cases it's directly related to you, and in other cases it's if you leave this job. So it's not necessarily related to you. If you make a X decision that doesn't have anything directly to do with you, but impacts it in some way, and gets them basically excommunicated from their family, you know, I mean, there's something here that makes them feel like they don't have a leg to stand on, and that they are not going to be, that it's going to be tough for them to make a choice like that. So we have the Knight of Wands. This is frustration, okay? So they've got this frustration of today, but this is more of a frustration overall. They got to keep the peace. This is the Two of Pentacles, is like feeling like a keep the peace, keep the balance kind of card. But it's also feeling like, no, I got to do right by myself. I know what's true now. I've been through this judgment process. I know what I need to do. I'm going that direction, but they're not being able to do it as easily. And so recently we had this experience that I think was more initiated with kind of that Lionsgate time frame. So it was a week in there where all of a sudden you were getting all of this advice to jump into something that maybe you were resistant to do. It was something that was really difficult for a change for you to make, that all of a sudden, like, the time was right for you to make it. So they were very much impacted by that feeling and felt like they needed to make a change. But they also have this Two of Pentacles. And so that's that Knight of Wands. All right, it's time. I got to make this change. But the Two of Pentacles is, no, I got to keep the peace. And so basically they sat for too long. And they've gotten to a place where keeping the peace is now going to start to weigh a little bit more. But to that point that the person made to me the other day about, you got a bunch of planets in retrograde and Mercury's about to go, it is anybody's guess as to whether they're actually going to be able to maintain this, because this balance, because they're having a really hard time, even though they don't feel like everything's moving in their direction. They don't feel like they have that high ground. They do feel like they have that strong drive and desire to move, and they're not listening to something they should be. The Hierophant in reverse is all about, I want to say emotional stability, and really it's emotional stability that comes along because you feel comfortable in following what you follow. And the Hierophant is all around that spiritual guidance piece. It's that piece that you follow. So in reverse, they aren't following it, and they're lacking some of that internal balance, it doesn't strike them right from a judgment standpoint when they realize they're not following it. But they also so much are reliant upon that security and not wanting things to change, feeling like they don't have that high ground, feeling like they're going to lose something. They're going to lose something that they consider to be very important. And that's why this implied or real threat, because there are a variety. There are some people who said, listen, if I see you dating this person or talking to this person, I'm leaving and you're not going to see your kids again. So there's that side of it. Then there's, if you interact with this person, meaning you, if you interact with this person, you're going to have political problems at work. Or, there's a lot of different ways that threat could look, and some of them are perceived threats and some of them are quite direct. We have the Seven of Swords in reverse. So the one good thing I can say here, and maybe not the only good thing, but one good thing I can say here is that this Judgment, they know what they need to do. They just don't know how to go about it. This trust within them, with the Seven of Swords in the reverse, this is their own self-trust. That is, it's lending them a fair amount of stability and strength, and feeling like they can actually go forth and do what they need to do with regard to you. So that's kind of pushing it more in your favor. But it does mean that if they make a change and they finalize things, remember, this situation is not done with them yet. If they make a change and finalize things, we know they're going to be successful with these lessons, but we also know they're going to lose some of this stability, and that's going to create some additional obstacles for them to overcome. So here we have the Page of Wands, and this is them recognizing that and how much trouble that they're going to have to move into if they decide that they want to move your direction. Here's not just, I have to clean up whatever is happening with the threat of what I lose, whether it's stability, seeing the family, some kind of political issue with the job. There's not just that, but there's more that they will have to deal with and clean up, and they feel a little timid about getting into that, even while they feel kind of strong in themselves. So there's a lot of challenge going on here. I think we got to do an extended on this one, and we've got to look a little bit more deeply into this, because they've got like a threat and a challenge coming at them from one side, but they've also got like this very real 2020 vision looking forward, as opposed to just in hindsight, hey, I've got this judgment now, this judgment feeling. I understand there's something very real and important happening here. And then with this Knight of Wands, they've got the power to move forward. So it's not a simple thing for them. It's really not a simple thing. And then it's bouncing off of this energy. I'm curious to understand kind of where it looks like it's going to go. So that's what we'll look into here when we get into the extended and learn a little bit more about this third-party energy, because I think we need to go a little bit deeper. We'll start, though, for those who aren't going to, well, for everybody, I don't want to make the assumption that people were going to go into the extended. For it costs money. I don't want to assume that people are going to spend it. Also, some people have said, nope, I got everything I needed to learn from the main reading. And so I want to make sure you are actually getting what you need, which always is going to include some focus on you. So let's do that. And the focus on you, the way that I like often to look at this is, what do you need to be focused on based on what else we see happening here? So based on this emotional and energetic backdrop, based on what we're seeing here with this third party and all the conflicting Yes, there are lessons. Yes, they're going to learn them. They're not ready to be done with it, but they think they are, but they're just really they're in a tug of war. Um, Within themselves, both emotionally and logically. I was going to say emotionally, and I'm like, hold on. There's a significant logical component to this as well, and it does not sit well with them with that judgment sitting there. They know where their weaknesses are, and so they're not able to tell themselves certain lies or overlook certain truths that maybe in the past they have had the luxury of overlooking. So let's look now into where you should be focused given this. I'm super interested to see what happens here, but I'm also super interested to see what happens in the extended. The extendeds are always interesting because they're like, there's a handful of people that click on them, and so it turns into like this more personal reading sort of feel to it, you know. But for you, this is not supposed to be here. It is an honorable mention, though. And it's around your healing. It's around taking the time to do that healing. But it's still it's a Four of Swords. It doesn't have that implied Six of Swords. Here's a little bit of time for you to sort things out. The Four of Swords just says you are healing. You're not the same person you used to be. We've seen some of that over here already, but that's kind of, that is a side message as we look into where you're going to focus. Okay, we've got the Empress in reverse. So with this Empress in reverse, what I am particularly drawn to here is thinking about the balance that needs to be built on the feminine energy side. And so this is specifically with you. Everyone has feminine energy, everyone has masculine energy, and you got to balance each of those within yourself. And then you have to balance them across your relationships. But this is about balancing it within yourself, okay? So the feminine, the divine feminine, the overall feminine energy that you need to balance is around your ability to be supportive and yet vulnerable, to ask for help and also be able to provide it and feel quite comfortable going both directions. So you have this empathy and you're very compassionate. You're very able to use that. But you also then have to allow yourself to be read. The thing is, though, there's kind of this feeling of, I don't want to use the term too much emotion, or the phrase too much emotion, because I don't know that that's appropriate, but I would say emotion that is not sufficiently tempered with also knowing yourself, using that self-awareness that you have, using the information that's at your disposal. If you're not careful and you're feeling very hurt, you can move into a victim mentality. You can move into kind of a needy space, and that's not going to be beneficial to you. So you want to guard against that. So you may not be somebody who's especially prone to it, but this situation wants to put you there. So you may be somebody who, for example, you have a very secure attachment style most of the time. This could be a situation that for whatever reason moves you into an anxious attachment style and more of an insecure attachment style. The goal then is to focus on that and look into that. That'll help you. It's like that string that you need to start pulling apart. Well, what is all this? How do I get that started? How do I pull up the corner on it? You've got the Strength card here in the reverse and the Ten of Pentacles in reverse, which is telling me it's got a little bit more of that feeling of the victim mentality coming along with it, but it has everything to do with fear and frustration and just saying, I don't know when this is going to be right. I'm so tired of waiting. There's a lot of feeling tired of waiting and just, when is this going to change? I've been at this for such a long time. I've been doing the healing. I've been doing the work, and it still sucks so bad. Like, I get that. I get that really strongly off these cards, and it's impacting you from an environmental standpoint. And like overall, it's starting to impact you, or it has been impacting the rest of your life. So pieces that you might not have really been thinking about them as being associated with this person are being impacted because of your energy, so much of it going in the direction of this person. You've got the Queen of Swords here, which is saying easy does it with the energy. And what I mean there is you may look at this and with all this frustration say, all right, you know what? That's it. I'm out. I can't do this anymore. I'm just cutting it all off. I'm going to sever the thread that bonds us. I'm going to find a way to just completely remove this. You're being encouraged to take it easy, to take it slow, get into the meditations and feel what there is to feel, because some of it has a lot of has a lot to teach you. And I know I can practically feel some of you being very frustrated at that because you've already done so much. And I wouldn't deny that, because I feel that throughout here as well, that you aren't the person that you used to be and that you've already come so far. Felt that with the Temperance card in particular. Hey, you're not at the beginning of this road. That's true here too, but every once in a while you realize, man, this is a marathon and not a sprint. And it just feels really intense and really lengthy. So you've got the Two of Wands saying that you're coming up to a crossroads. This is that crossroadsy sort of feeling with the Two of Wands. We may want to look a little bit more into that, because I feel like it's telling me that, but it's not giving me very much detail about it. And I saw the World come in the reverse there as well. There's something else that isn't over for you yet. And just like this third party energy isn't quite done with your person, there's something about this where you are maybe, there's something that's not quite done with you yet too. What have we got? Oh, Five of Wands in reverse. There's a lot of potential here if you are able to kind of easy does it with this energy and not suddenly withdraw your energy from everything. There's an opportunity here for synergy. There's an opportunity for working together that's actually going to allow you to have the whole be greater than the sum of the parts. Now, I'm not sure what that means just yet, because is that with this person? Is that with a new soulmate? Is that more in a different type of situation? There's people associated, but I'm not sure which people. And I don't know that it's going to be the same for everybody. You do have the Empress energy coming in the upright. There are certain things that you're going to be able to, so we've got the Empress in the reverse. We've also got it in the upright. And this one over here is saying, hey, watch out for that tendency to move toward a victim mentality on your darkest days. Here, though, is saying, all right, you know what? You have some incredible balance going on with that feminine energy that you're going to be able to use to help move you away from that victim mentality. That wants to kind of come for you on those difficult days. So utilize that balance to help pull you up on the days where you're maybe not feeling as strong. Then here with the Nine of Pentacles, it's just that reminder that things are not always going to feel comfortable and like you're ready to take on the world. This is that feeling of not being ready and yet being able to move towards it and do what you need to do anyway. Okay. Let's see. Yep, there's another card here. I'm like really eager to get to the extended and learn a little bit more about this third party, but I feel like, nope. I feel like also we may need to get in a little bit deeper on you and your lessons. And then, like I said, tomorrow, I feel like we're going to have to look into those lessons that your person is learning and what happens if maybe they're not doing such a great job learning them. For you, though, it looks like there's still plenty of work for you to be doing on your own lessons, whether it has to do with that victim mentality, whether it has to do with more of that insecure feeling. But there's a perspective here that you haven't yet seen. And I wouldn't say you haven't seen any element of it. I think you haven't seen the full thing. There's something that's going to surprise you here. So you've got the Hanged Man in reverse. You've also got the Four of Cups in reverse. The Hanged Man is you're about to come around a corner and see something different. The Four of Cups in reverse says it's going to surprise you. You're not going to be expecting it to be very much, and it's going to surprise you a little bit. I'm curious to learn a little bit more about this. I think when we get into the extended, we will ask this question a little bit more deeply and just take kind of the deep dive version of it. But for sure, we're taking the deep dive version on this one, taking into account the energy of the overall feel of the day and kind of just where we're at right now. Looking into this third party, I know there's a lesson here for them. I get that it's not yet done with them, but there's so much struggle and so much of them wanting to kind of do what seemed impossible before. let's look into that and kind of get a feel for what you might expect. So that's what we'll do in the extended reading. Thanks for being here with me for this one. If you want to go to the extended, the link is down below this video, and I hope to see you there. Otherwise, I will see you again tomorrow.